Lattafa Qaa'ed Hidden Gem has this sweet, spicy magician enough tricks in his main course to make you fall for it. Full review coming up. Hello YouTube, hello dear Aromatics, glad to see your smiley faces again. Welcome to another review. What goes well with an Arabic coffee? A sweet, spicy Oriental perfume. So without losing any more time, let's target our victim. So today you take a look at Lattafa Qaa'ed, a sweet, spicy Oriental fragrance launched in 2018, classified as unisex. Qaa'ed means the leader of the clan, the leader of the tribe. So let's see if this leader has enough power to rule over your taste. Habibi, nice perfume, voila, yellow. Now let's start with the presentation, which is quite simple in my opinion, but it's a good thing compared to what these houses do in generally. Sometimes they do too much, they go too fancy, and they go over the board with their presentation, but this one is okay. You get a black tube covered in a leathery wrap. On the front side you have the name of the perfume, around you have an embossed floral model, on the lower side you have again the name of the perfume and the name of the house. On top of the tube you have Lattafa's logo, on the back you have their signature original sticker perfume, and on the lower side you have all the legal information, and of course on the one of the sides here you have the batch number and the expiring date, which is printed with black ink on a black surface. Nice, thoughtful designing choice, Lattafa. Very good. To get to the fragrance, you just take the cap off, which slides easily, and you get this presentation, which is okay in my opinion, and it looks good on a shelf and gives some more stability to your bottle. And after that, you can slide the bottle off, and this gives me some iPhone, MacBook sensation because it's very smooth and it's very precise. You get a very well done pedestal, and of course inside you have some velvety material which is present also inside the cap. You get a heavy bottle wrapped in a gold color plastic which has some texture to it and gives you a good grip when you take it in your hand. And you have the cap, which is plastic also, and it's light and cheap, doesn't stick into place, so it's not secure to pick your fragrance by the cap. And on the top of the cap you have Lattafa's logo again printed on a black background, and on the front of course you have again the name of the fragrance. Caution: if you just bought this you will find it aggressive and off-putting. This is a Middle Eastern perfume and it doesn't hide to show his origins. When you go to Fragrantica, the main accords presented are warm spicy, vanilla, leather, wood, which is Agarwood, cinnamon, woody notes, amber, powdery, aromatic, and animalic. One thing I can say for sure is that there is nothing animalic in this perfume, although the main accord is listed there. The official notes are: on the top you have cinnamon, cardamom, and bergamot. On the middle you have saffron, you have sandalwood, cedarwood, and carnation, and on the base you have vanilla, you have agarwood, amber, and leather. Normally with these houses the official notes are not present in the fragrance, which is not the case here. And the second thing is that although you have all the notes presented in the fragrance also, you have some extra notes which are not presented here. And remember that I said that this perfume is a magician? Well, it makes you think that has even more notes than the official one presented by mixing and playing with the notes it already has. Before we analyze the notes, let's address the elephant in the room. Although this looks like Dunhill icon, and when it comes to scent profile it's compared to Easy Miyake Polaris, well, it fails both. I must recognize that this reminds you of the presentation of Dunhill icon, but doesn't smell like that and doesn't smell like Polaris. Okay, sometimes at some points gives you some vibes that make you think about Polaris or Dunhill icon, but it's not a clone. And this perfume, it's on its own. This is almost a creation by Lattafa, an original creation by the house. And this feels rich, feels luxurious, feels thick, feels sticky, feels like a rich Arab guy. Let's waste a few sprays and see how the atomizer works. It's very good, it's steady, and it sprays a good load, and it's a fine mist. For a cheapy product which costs 25 euros, the atomizer is quite good. If it's your first time on this channel, you might ask yourself what you just saw. Yes, we don't use testers. On this channel, we only apply fragrances to skin and to clothes, because when you buy a fragrance, you will do the same. The problem with tester is that sometimes we'll give malformations to a fragrance and it will completely change the profile. Caution number 2. Do not try to sniff this right after you apply it, because the opening can be overwhelming. It has so many notes and so much happening in the same time that it can be quite aggressive for your nose and you will not be able to evaluate this correctly. So I spray it, I leave it for at least 5 minutes, and now it's time to dip my nose in. Whoa, whoa. Yeah, baby. Yeah, it's getting. Yeah, oh, this is powerful. Power, yeah. This is strong. This is Middle Eastern's assumed. Yeah, baby. Whew. And on my skin, yeah, it's lighter on my skin, but on the clothes, it reminds me of Spice Bomb, that complex and exploding opening, that grenade in your face, that bomb of everything. In the beginning, all the notes, all the chords, they are trying to make their place, you know, they are just fighting, they are trying to get the first one, you know, they are trying to mix, but in the same time shine on their own. And it's like a bull charging out of the gates. This opens with a sweet sugary note. Right after that we have a heavy dose of cinnamon, and in the same time we have some rich cardamom and some saffron. Citrus is not detectable, but I think it's there to give some freshness. And sometimes in the opening, some notes are present just to help other notes develop or to accentuate, to contrast other notes which are normally not detectable. This is a saffron in many ways fragrances. As you already know, saffron is very expensive and it's becoming more and more expensive every year. And of course there is no natural saffron in it. But the way they mix, the way they made their main accords, is that you get saffron and saffron with something else, or vibes of saffron, or some interpretation of saffron. If towards the end of the opening notes you are already amazed by how much this perfume has to show off, wait until you get to the middle notes, and there you have some more developments. You remember that opening sugary note from the beginning? Yeah, it becomes a sweet, dark woody vanilla. Not a gourmand one, but an elegant and dark kind of a vanilla. Those woody notes are starting to show off, and you have that Agarwood note and that Cedar wood note combining, and you get a woody and incensy note in the same time. And the Sandalwood is not aggressive but gives some context there. You can feel that spicy wood in the background a little bit, but it's not aggressive at all. And Saffron becomes clear in his intentions. Yes, you get that incensy note, but remember, this is not like the incense you get in a church. This is more like resinous. This is like an elegant aromatherapy stick which has that warm incensey smell in it, almost sweet incense, almost like there is a high quality incense you'll never smelled in your life. So if you don't like incense, don't think that this goes that way, because I don't like also incense in perfumes. Like I don't like Bentley for Men Intense, because that incense note is so strong, but this note is not like that. Has nothing to do with that. This is an elegant, sweet and resinous type of incense. At this point, I'm sadly to report that Cardamom faints away, which is a shame. But you have something else happening. You have Carnation showing up. Carnation gives some green smell, some floral powdery smell, and creates a fresh minty type of a smell combined with that cedar wood. You get almost like aftershave type of a vibe, but not in a fougere type of a way, but more in a kind of a modern, minty, fresh smell. The notes development, it's quite intense in the opening, but also stays quite intense also in the middle. Right after that, you have some Suede, some spicy, sweet leather note starting to develop in the background. You get almost the vibe of apricot or some peachy leather in the background. Something else is also happening in the background towards the end of the middle notes, and this is off-putting for some people. This is a side effect of using Agarwood, especially using synthetic Agarwood. Natural one is quite impressive, has a rich flavor, but the synthetic one has a medicinal vibe, which people completely hate in this perfume. And the problem is that when you combine agarwood, synthetic agarwood, with cedarwood, which also synthetic, cedar will accentuate that medicinal vibe you get from agarwood. And also, since you have carnation with that green smell, also adds to that medicinal notes. For me, that medicinal notes, it's barely detectable and I'm not offended by it, and it doesn't change the perception of this perfume. When you get to the base notes, that dark vanilla note gets in front. It rules over the other notes and it's very prominent, very powerful. After that, agarwood has some space to shine, but it's not in your face. Like I told you, you get some medicinal vibe, but you get that agarwood also vibe in the same time. Remember that sweet, fruity, leathery suede note I told you about in the middle notes? You have leathery, but not in a leather 100% note. You have leather with something else. You have an artificial type of a smell of trying to imitate leather. Towards the end of the lifespan of the fragrance, you will end up by only smelling vanilla and amber, a balsamic amber. Before we phrase our conclusion, let's smell this again. This is powerful. So on the skin it's sweet, balsamic and rich, and on the clothes it's spicy, incensy and woody. And that leather note is present on the skin and on the clothes also in the same time. To resume Lattafa Qaa'ed, I can say that this fragrance is a warm, spicy, vanilla, sweet, woody, leathery and incensy fragrance. To resume this with other words, I can say that Lattafa Qaa'ed, it's a spicy cookie you get served in an Oriental restaurant. Bismillah, nice cookie, habibi. Until this point, we saw that this fragrance shows good progression and complexity. But is it good for you? Can you wear it? This is a cold weather fragrance. This is not good for warm seasons. But if you are courageous and you like strong essences, go for it. No problem with that. Although Lattafa Qaa'ed is quite masculine in the opening, it's like a bull out of the gates. It's raging, it's charging up, it's showing his power, it's in your face, it's rich, thick, luxurious, it's sticky. Towards the middle notes, it becomes unisex. From this point of view, if you are a man, if you like manly or unisex fragrances, this is ideal for you because it has something, has enough to be unisex, but in the same time, it has that extra thing to be manly. If you are a woman, if you like unisex, or if you like strong fragrances, strong, sweet, spicy fragrances, this is also ideal for you, so you can wear it. Due to that rich, spicy, woody, leathery scent profile, this is not a sport fragrance by any means. This is only formal occasion, formal events fragrance. When it comes to age, in my opinion, you must be at least 30 to wear this. I mean, you can wear it if you are below 30, no problem with that. But this one is only for professionals. This one is only for fragrance addicts like us. This is not for everyday Joe. This is not for everyday use. When it comes to performance, this is surprisingly good. I mean, you are amazed by this. Sometimes you buy fragrances that cost 4 times the price and you don't get the same performance. Projection is good in my opinion. In the first 2 hours you get 1 meter and after that it stays like around half a meter. You can fill easily a room with this, there is no doubt, especially in the first 3 to 4 hours. And the scent trail you can get like 1.5 meters depending on how you spray it. And it got me a lot of compliments. This is surprisingly good for 25 euros. And it's quite a different smell, it's something new, it's something that attracts people. It's not the usual fragrance you get in our stores, you know, the usual designer fragrances. Although this has 100% declared Middle Eastern character, this is not off-putting for people which don't love Middle Eastern fragrances. Is this a safe blind buy? No, it's not. I'm sad to say this because this is a very cheap fragrance as this offers so much for the price. One thing I can say is that this is not love at the first sniff. This fragrance, sometimes you need to give her months before it starts to impress you, and this, if you are not used to this type of a fragrance, can give you some headaches. Lattafa Qaa'ed, it's ideal for layering. This works perfectly with any other woody, leathery or incensy fragrances. This can boost the other fragrance and create contrast and create depth and complexity and richness. This smells like your rich Arab uncle. Bibi. Lattafa Qaa'ed, it's a warm, vanilla, spicy, woody, leathery, incensy fragrance. A rich fragrance, a luxurious fragrance which deserves your attention. And that's all for today, dear Aromatics. Thank you for watching my video. Thank you for staying until the end. And if you stay until this point, it means that I'm doing something that help you or interests you or you like. So I urge you to hit that subscribe button. Thank you. And at the same time, give me some thumbs up or leave your feedback in the comments. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here and see you next time.